Hey guys, it's Bill Vinci and Ryan Vinci back. You know it's Sunday. You know what we do on Sundays here? We come at you with our podcast today, and we are pumped. I'm glad to have Ryan back. Ryan, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Having a
I
light beer
missed you
and just ready to relax.
I know I missed you for the last two shows, but we're glad to have you back
I know.
today. And we got a great show planned today. We got Erica Sunshine Lee. Erica, how you doing?
I'm doing good down here in Georgia. How y'all doing?
Oh, we're doing good. We're cold up here, though. It's cold up here. How's it down in Georgia?
It's cold today. It's just gotten to 49 degrees.
Ooh,
Wow.
Jeez.
It might be warmer up here today.
It's been like 78 all week, so it
Has
is cold
it?
for us. But
I think
know
we
y'all
swapped
are-
today. Today's
Yeah.
been the good day up here.
Yeah, we had a nice
Cold
day
back
up
down.
here, so it's a little cold down there. But it looks like you got the boats, you got the tank tops going in the background. Almost feels like summer where you're at.
It was feeling like that all week. I'm getting ready for it, and we've got these festivals coming up. Hopefully, we're still gonna be able to play. So I've got some
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
in
Oh,
and
Absolutely.
definitely new stuff
Absolutely.
happening.
No, that's awesome. So we're glad to have you on the show today. But first, we got to thank our sponsor for today's show. We got Radio Trop Rock and Eric Babin. Awesome. I mean, Eric came on. He's an online radio station specializing in upbeat songs about beaches, boats, and bars. I mean, does it get any better than that?
I can't imagine. I mean, it's like the
That's
happiest radio
cool.
station ever.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I want to, check him out at radiotroprock.com. So thank you, Eric, for being a sponsor of today's show. We really appreciate it. And Erica, first we want to tell you, good to see you again. Last time I saw you, we were in Phoenix, New York.
That was some good pizza too, huh?
We're going to talk about the pizza a little bit later. We're going to get to that part after. But first, we want to talk about you and tell us where you're from, by the way.
I'm from Northeast Georgia, the granite capital of the world, Elberton, Georgia. Originally, I lived in San Francisco for a few years and started my country band out there in
Okay.
2007. And I moved back to Nashville a few years ago. So I've been touring the globe full time for 12 years. And it's just been a roller coaster ride. I've been playing all over the United States and over 15 countries, I think, at least, maybe more
Wow.
now. But it's just been nonstop, write, record, play, tour, and it's been one adventure after the next. But I'm a small town girl, but I love the big cities and being able to see all over the world. I'm definitely got island in my soul and a little bit of gypsy, so that's been a good ride.
That's awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about your hometown and the settings there, some of the history behind it, and everything else. Growing up, tell us a little bit about that.
So it's a really small town in Northeast Georgia, 30 miles east of Athens. So we're kind of close to the University of Georgia.
Okay.
And because it's the granite capital of the world, we claim like most of the tombstones are made from Elberton, Georgia. And we have a granite bowl. It's an entire football stadium with just granite seating. We won the state championship in 1996, so they're very proud of the football and the athleticism here in our small town. And one famous nugget you might know, Mecole Hardman Jr. just won a Super Bowl in the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's from our hometown.
Is he really? Didn't know that. Oh, wow. Yeah, very good receiver for Kansas City. So you're a Bulldog fan?
I'm a huge Bulldog fan. I got my Georgia Bulldog sticker. I got a song called How About Them Dogs.
There it
born
is.
and bred in Georgia. We bleed red and black here. And we're also home of the Godstones. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like the Southern Stonehenge. And it's this mysterious, several slabs of granite that were just etched with really unique messages in several different languages several years back. I think it was in the mid-'80s or '90s. And you can drive probably 8 miles from my house and go out, and in the middle of this field there's these huge pillars of stone with messages like basically treat the earth kind, don't overpopulate the earth, treat people kindness. And it's a really nice little advice, and it's a big mystery because they don't really know who contracted them to be built. So to this day it's kind of this really mysterious, crazy thing that happened, and out of nowhere, like aliens dropped the Godstones in the middle of Elberton, Georgia, Elbert County.
Wow!
Just sending little soul heads, keep the planet alive.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Planet alive. I think we've surpassed where the population should have been according to the Godstones, but
Yeah,
Maybe
absolutely.
the coronavirus is keeping it under a certain limit.
That's
It's cool to
awesome.
hear like little hidden things about certain towns and stuff like that. Like that's a really cool story.
Yeah, it's a really, really unique town, and it is a small town, but it's where I was born and raised, and my parents were born and raised here, and they actually started dating in high school, so they're still married after 46 years
Wow.
last week.
Wow, good for
And
them.
Wow.
my daddy grew up on the same street that they still live on, so it's a lot of history, a lot of good memories, and they're still married, and they're awesome Christian people, so they raised me and my brother and my sister to just treat others with kindness and have a love for God and other people. So I'm really grateful to have wonderful parents that support me on my journey and
Yeah.
have been amazing role models my whole life.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So when did you start singing, Erica? What age did you start singing?
I started singing probably when I was born, but when I was around 5 or 6, I was singing at church, and I was even singing in a school play. I was joking with my parents the other day. We pulled up some old videos since I'm here at their house, and we've gotten to spend some time quarantining and reflecting over the good old days, and pulled up some footage of me singing in church when I was probably 5 years old. So it started
Wow.
back then, and then I led worship in middle school at the church, and then in high school I was also leading worship with a band at church. So then I started singing karaoke, and I just loved to sing in my room. They got me a little microphone, so I would hang back in the room and sing along to Shania Twain and Dixie Chicks and Mariah Carey. But then I moved to California when I was 18, and I was busting into bars at 18 years old underage so I could go sing karaoke. It kind of just started from there, and then I met a couple people that had a band, and John Lawton asked me to start singing with him in his classic rock band for 2 years. So I started singing classic rock in the Rodeo Clowns band in San Francisco, and then after we had a falling out, I took the bass player and drummer and started my own band. So then I started
You snatched the band up.
Exactly. You know, it was kind of fun that it ended up being a good beginning. So we ended up patching things up, but it was cool that after a tumultuous heartbreak, I started writing sad country songs, and what ended up I thought was the most devastating part of my life, and I thought was going to kill me, ended up being like the biggest turning point and the best fresh start, because that ended up kind of catapulting me into being a singer-songwriter. And so I started writing songs.
That's where the passion comes from.
Exactly. The deepest and the darkest spots sometimes end up being the best inspiration. And
exactly.
that motivation, you just need a kick in the pants sometimes.
Yep.
I got out of corporate America. I was selling cars for several years to put myself through college. And a lot of people don't know that I sold Chevrolet, Cadillac, and Hummer cars. While I was a rock star at night, I was a car salesman by day. And then after I recorded my first 10 songs and released an album, and then I wrote 10 more songs, I recorded another album, and then I just moved back to Nashville because it was such a hub for all the songwriters. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And I started touring in Georgia and then back in California, and then started going on international journeys and festivals to New Zealand and Fiji and Australia. And
wow.
So it really did take me around the world.
So is that how country bands start, breaking up a band, and now you're singing all these sad songs about the breakup and all that? Is that how it starts?
I think that you just write what you know, and a lot of people may not have had a bad situation or a heartbreak, but I think that country music for me is just about real life, and whether it's the ups or downs. I mean, it's about the struggles and the triumphs. It's about the deep, true love and seeing people like my parents who've been married forever, and then people like me who, have the breakup songs. But there's also a lot of great inspiration through the relationships. You learn a lot about yourself and others, and I've been able to write songs for people's wedding. Like my last album is a song called I Do, and I've been able to sing that song at like 6 different countries at weddings all over the United States.
Wow.
It's been pretty powerful, and so music's such a cool thing, because even when you're in the middle of Thailand or Australia and you sing a song, even if they don't understand all the lyrics, it's just something that magically allows people to draw closer to each other. Especially
they can feel it in your voice when you're performing too. That's a big thing. Exactly. So we know that you started singing pretty much since you were born. What about playing guitar?
So I started playing guitar 12 years ago. After that breakup, I kept the guitar. I got custody of the guitar because I was giving it up. So I went on YouTube and I looked up G, C, and D. And I started
That's all you need.
Exactly. And I taught myself how to play, and I had a guitarist in my band I was just singing at first when I started the music scene in San Francisco. But then after I learned a couple chords and started writing songs to those chords, then I started expanding, and then I'd watch him play and I'd ask him questions. How do you play this? Or how do you do this? And so my first album, I didn't even know how to play guitar. When I wrote several of those songs, I sang them to a guy and he would put them to music.
Okay.
But then through the years, I've learned a couple more chords since then and been able to write for a lot of really cool artists and play shows all over the world, even with Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top in Las Vegas and Tommy Tutone in Nashville. So it's been really cool.
Pretty cool. Hey guys, if you tuned in just now, we are with Erica Sunshine Lee. She's joining us, national recording artist. We are excited to have her. If you guys have any questions, obviously we're not in the studio right now due to the virus. You can message us on our Facebook page. You're watching live at No Time for Nonsense. Ask her a question. We'll relay over to her, and she can give you her answer. Interact with her. Say hi to her. We're watching. There's a lot of people joining us right now. So if you want to say hi to Erica, send her a question. We'll get it over to her. But the most exciting thing, I know, Ryan, you had something to ask her about, too, about something this week. And we talked
so it's funny. When you're starting out, you kind of get that stage fright phase. And when did you get over that?
It was funny because I had such a dry mouth. Like I could not even form words. I would just get so nervous. And it wasn't like a conscious thing. It was like you just get the microphone and subconsciously you would just freak out inside. And
I know.
I was still nervous about, I mean, there's still times sometimes that, there's nerve-wracking moments. But I remember for those 2 years I was singing with the Rodeo Clowns, I would constantly have that fear or that inner it's not even a shyness. I think there's just something that just freezes.
Almost like an anxiety kind of.
It is an anxiety attack. It totally is. And so you just, you can't drink enough. But one thing that is a really cool tip that I learned is if you do have that, if you keep gum in the back of your mouth and you can chew gum, not that you want to smack while you're singing, but it does help keep your mouth from going dry, because when you cannot form words, it's really hard to sing when you can't even swallow your saliva. That might be TMI. But
because the last show I did, I thought I was hydrated perfectly. I was drinking water all day. I wasn't drinking alcohol. I'm like, I'm gonna do great. It's the practices. I sounded great. I got on stage after the first song. I'm like, I felt so dry. It was just, I think it was anxiety.
Parched. It's instant, and there's nothing you can do. You can drink water, and it doesn't get better.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if it was like there was a moment that clicked, but I definitely just the more you do anything, the more you get
slowly kind of worked at it and just got better.
And it was probably because even once I started getting comfortable with my band playing, like in 2007, probably it didn't completely go away, but it got a lot better. And then there was still certain moments like at big shows that I would just kind of that panic, because it's like all eyes on me. You can hear a pin drop. And you don't want to screw anything up, and you want everything to go perfectly. And so I'm such a control freak anyway that I want everything to go perfect. So I would just be panicking, and then your panic makes the show mess up. So
exactly.
22, you want to stay chill, but you want everything to go perfect. So I think it took probably 2 or 3 years before it really got better. And even like certain times, I mean, getting on stage at Summerfest with 15,000 people and you're opening for Randy Houser, I mean, it's just nerve-wracking, and it's like all this adrenaline and nerves and all these other thoughts in your head. So
you want to do your best. I mean, you get a crowd like that, you want to do your best. So it's in your head. It's like you can't mess up. And that's when you do, is when you're just in your head that whole time.
And that's one thing is I think I constantly have to just, even now, sometimes when you do get stressed or nervous or when you feel like somebody's watching you, I mean, even a couple of years ago when people started videoing all the time at shows, like it used to be if you just wanted to have a show, you play a show and like you might make a tiny mistake, but when there's cameras on you and you're sick or you're not at your best, it's like you're under a microscope and you feel so much pressure because that might be the one time somebody sees you on that video. And now with Facebook Live and all the other technology.
Exactly.
You're all over the world.
Yeah, you are. You're not even just there at that show. You're everywhere. You're online.
And they don't know if you're sick, or they don't know that you had 2 hours of sleep.
Exactly.
Or if you're going through an emotionally tough time, or if you're going through and you're singing a song that may hit closer to home on that day. about like a tragic situation or a heartache. And it's like, pull it together. And so you're kind of coaching yourself mentally, and there's a lot going on up here while you're putting on the smile and performing, because you don't want people to see inside, that you might be about to bust out crying or you're angry because you just had a fight with somebody before the show and you're screaming.
Wow, that's true. Well, that's your voice. That's awesome. So we got a little background on Erica and how she started and what age and everything else, but I think it's time for a song. Erica's going to sing us a couple songs here, but we're going to hear one right now. What are you going to sing the first song for us today?
Well, I just feel like it's totally appropriate right now because of everybody kind of freaking out over the quarantine. And I know it's been really stressful. Like for a lot of my musician friends, we have been completely banned from work because we're not essential, apparently. But I think music is essential. So this song I wrote with my friend Bill DeLuigi, and we had gone on a mission trip to Kenya with our church. And when we got back, he had the hook idea of Groove at It. And I just thought, that sounds really cool. What does it mean? And we started talking about how we get so stressed out about the little things in life. And we've got, these first world problems that we think are a big deal. And after being over in Kenya and seeing that children don't have drinking water that's safe or bathrooms to use the bathroom in, it just puts it in perspective. And so we came up with this song, and I just think right now we could all kind of use a little positive message to kind of shake things off that don't matter and focus on what does.
Okay.
It's called Groove At It.
I like it.
Okay.
That alarm goes off, you wish it would stop. Can't stand your boss, but at least you got a job. Hey, don't worry about it when the traffic jams like an angry guitar. Running late again, but at least you got a car. Hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If your ride's just gone all wrong and your off just won't come on, tired of singing that same old song, throw a little groove at it. Stuck in that same old rut, and you're down, need to pick me up. Tap your feet and shake that butt, just throw a little groove at it. Lose your troubles like a bad habit, like a rhythm and blues at it. Just throw a little groove at it. Hey. Get your heart all broke, don't cry yourself to sleep. There's one thing that I know, time will find you a brand new beat. Hey, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. If your ride's just gone all wrong and your off just won't come on, tired of singing that same old song, throw a little groove at it. Stuck in that same old rut, and you're down, need to pick me up. Tap your feet and shake that butt, just throw a little groove at it. Lose your troubles like a bad habit, like a rhythm and blues at it. Just throw a little groove at it. Hey. Find a sound that soothes your soul. You don't need money, you don't need gold. All it takes is a little music, and you'll get through it. Sing it again. Find a sound that soothes your soul. You don't need money, you don't need gold. All it takes is a little music, and you'll get through it. If your eyes just gone wrong, and your off just won't come on, tired of singing that same old song, throw a little groove at it. Stuck in that same old rut, and you're down, need to pick me up. Tap your feet and shake that butt, just throw a little groove at it. If your eyes just gone wrong, and your off just won't come on, tired of singing that same old song, throw a little groove at it. Stuck in that same old rut, and you're down, need to pick me up. Tap your feet and shake that butt, just throw a little groove at it. Lose your troubles like a bad habit, like a rhythm and blues at it. Slide the vinyl right out the jacket, just throw a little groove at it.
Awesome.
Nice.
Man, that goes with the time right now. Boy, that's
perfect.
It's up. Absolutely. Awesome. So
we got one question from Eric. He wanted me to ask you if you enjoy doing music videos.
Oh, I love doing music videos. It's like so cool. I get to be in character, and I get to go into this whole different mode, because songwriting is creating the song, but being able to kind of create the vision behind the story. And whether it's depicting the story that really inspired the song or just something that I made up in my head, I just love being able to kind of put into character. And then it's cool to be able to paint the picture of what you were thinking or feeling when you wrote the song, because people don't always hear it or see it on stage when they hear the words.
Exactly.
And being able to show that, or being able to like take them there. I've shot music videos in Australia and Las Vegas and California and Georgia and Florida and Tennessee and even over in Europe. And it's just really cool to be able to kind of bring them there into the scene. And I love it. So for me, it's definitely one of the different facets that I've really come to love in the music industry.
Yeah. Awesome. Did you do anything with like acting before too, or is it just something kind of new when you were doing? Yeah, it's just something new with the.
Yeah, I mean, I probably just always loved being on stage. When I was 5 years old in a play, I was probably taking over the microphone and doing the acting. So I think that kind of comes with being a performer and an entertainer. But definitely enjoy being able to convey that more, because not everybody wants to be on stage and entertain just because they're a singer or a songwriter. So I think that for me brings it to life more, and I like being able to share the story. And I think people relate to it, and it's such a instantaneous society that everybody just wants to see things and get spoon-fed. They don't want to have to like necessarily think or go above and beyond because they're scrolling on Facebook. So when they see that in 2 seconds, they stop. I think instead of just listening to the song and they see the visual behind it, it kind of makes them get into the story more, and it leaves more impression.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny. You know, when I hear songs, like songs from the 80s, I listen to the 80s and 70s on my car all the time. But when I hear a song, I always think of the video. Mm-hmm. And I may not like the video, and that might make me not like the song because the video is so corny. I'm like, I don't like that song because of the video. It's so weird. You're right. Videos are so important.
It's a huge deal.
Right.
And it's like, for me, a song like Mojitos, when you wrote it about an experience in Key West, and then you get to shoot the video where you wrote the song and where it happened, I think that people then want to go there and they want to see and they want to feel, and when they sing along to the song, they visualize what you were doing. Right. And it puts it allows them to put themselves in the situation too, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, guys, if you're just tuning in, I see a lot of new faces, people jumping on. We're with Erica Sunshine Lee. If you have a question for her, send us a message on Facebook. We're watching our phones over here to get any questions. You can ask her. We'll relay it over to her. But, Erica, you only want to ask you, when did you sign your deal to be a recording artist?
Actually, so I've been independent the whole time. I've never signed with a label, but I started recording in 2009 when I wrote my first 10 songs. I went to a trailer in Georgia, and I found a friend. He had a recording studio out in a trailer near where my hometown is. So we recorded the first album there. I didn't know any better. I wrote 10 songs and recorded them as a CD.
Wow.
And then I wrote my next 10 songs, and I met a producer in California, and we recorded them out there in that studio. But it wasn't until my third album that I went to Nashville, and I was marching up and down Music Row with my CD, my demo CD, and I knocked on doors on Music Row. They tell stories about it, but I was that girl.
I was going to say,
and a lot of people didn't let you in. But there was a studio that opened its doors. I walked right in, I sat down, and I started joking around with the guys and hanging out for about 4 hours as they came in. And I would watch one person after the next walk in, hand a demo tape or CD back then. They would hand over the demo CD and they would record the song in 20 or 30 minutes with these amazing session players and knock the song out, do some overdubs, and then go to the next person. And it was just like an assembly line, you know, and I was just floored because I'd spent so much time recording an album in California and so long to get the parts right. And these guys are just like, bam, bam, bam. And they're so just completely above anything I ever seen. And so after a while, they turned to me and they said, "So are you recording a song?" And I was like, "No." And they said, "Oh, do you know somebody here?" I said, "No." And they were like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I was just knocking on the door and they let me in." So now we're good buddies.
Hanging out.
We've been hanging out the whole time. So they laughed and we went and grabbed a drink afterwards at the Bar Losers. And since then, I've been working with Buddy Hyatt now for those probably 10 years of recording. Now my new 9th album comes out tomorrow, and he's helped co-produce this album as well. So those connections that I made that day have snowballed through the years, and some of the session players that I met that day have continued to play on my records through the years.
That's awesome. So your 9th album comes out tomorrow.
Tomorrow, 4/20/20.
That's exciting. What's the name of it?
It's called Bulletproof.
Bulletproof. Okay, for everybody listening in, check out her new album coming out tomorrow for 2020. I like it. Bulletproof.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do a special live on Facebook on my Facebook feed at 420, so y'all can come get high with me.
Oh,
at 420.
very cool.
On 420.
No, definitely throw that out there. Now, for people wondering how we got Erica on the show today and how we met her, being down from Georgia, is she was up in New York, right, for a little tour. Were you around New York for a few places, or were you just?
Yeah, I was touring up there for a week. I usually do like a week run up there every year. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we met her at Lock One Distillery when we were filming our Empire Plate show there, and she happened to be performing that night with Sydney Irving before her, opening up for her. And I got to listen to two great performers, and I was blown away. I mean, Erica, you were phenomenal. I mean, if we didn't have to do the show, I would just sat there and kept eating and drinking and listening to you play, and it was awesome.
Thank you.
Not only did we get to hear Erica play, but she got to sit down with me and eat some of the food that I ordered for our show. And you did say something funny about those. Something you don't eat much pizza?
No, I said I never met a pizza I didn't like.
That's what it yeah. So
there are definitely hierarchies of pizza. Trust me. I don't usually turn down pizza because I just love pizza.
No, I know. I said I got
to. There's leaps and bounds of an average pizza.
Yes.
I mean, I grew up eating frozen Totino's pizzas by the dozen. Like every week we would just eat those. I know you New Yorkers are snobs with pizza, but down here in Georgia, we didn't get that luxury. Yeah. And I've been to Italy and I've had homemade pizza with the best of them. So across the board, there's just all pizzas are not created equally.
No, not at all.
But that pepperoni at Lock One Distillery, slab, thick,
it was
juicy, really good pepperoni, and the cheese was really good. It was
good.
Awesome.
Yeah, we had the pretzel. We had the pretzel with the beer cheese we were dipping in. It was so good. And she had to eat this before she went on stage, by the way. Probably not a great idea. I'm feeding her pizza and pretzels and beer cheese, but
fill it right up.
But I don't love pretzels. Like I've just never been a huge pretzel person because a lot of times they are dry and chewy.
It's true.
But I will tell you, that made me a pretzel lover. Whatever they do to their pretzels is
good. I know.
Beer cheese, too. I'm always a fan of beer cheese.
I am, too. Anything with beer cheese. Put it on a burger. Put it on a hot dog. Anything.
I agree.
Except the gut.
Oh, we got another question, too.
Well, yeah.
What inspired the song Change the World?
So that's a good question. I was traveling through the Atlanta airport and I met a guy in the Delta Lounge and he saw me carrying my guitar and we just started talking because we were waiting on our flight and he gave me a card. I gave him my card. He was asking what kind of music I did. And a couple weeks later, he booked me for a private event for to play for this young president's organization down in Costa Rica. So here I am.
Wow.
A month later, after meeting the guy in the airport for 20 minutes, I'm flying to Costa Rica to play an event for these guys at the Four Seasons Resort. And I'm waiting around on them to get there. I flew in that night. I got there probably midnight. And the next morning, I'm waiting for them to arrive. And I was scrolling through Instagram, and I saw the story of Sarah Blakely and how she started the Spanx company. Out of her dorm room, she was the first woman to start an undergarment company that was made by a woman. And you would think long before, 10 or 15, 20 years ago, undergarments might have been made by another woman, but no, she's the first one. And I was like, wow, that seems really late. I've been doing all this time. What do they know about our undergarments? So it was really cool that she was like an innovator and she found a product. She had the need. She wanted to feel sexier under her dress without, bumps and lumps. So she made Spanx. And I was just like, what inspires people to do this? It's just so intriguing at the mother invention or the creativity behind inventing a product, but also she did it in her dorm room and she said, I wanted to change the world. And I was able to do that from my dorm room. And I sat there and went, I want to change the world. Like, yeah, likely you go, girl. And so she has no idea, which I hope one day I get to meet her and tell her thanks for the inspiration. So I sat down and in this hotel room in Costa Rica, looking out the window at the jungle, and I wrote the lyrics to this song because I just thought girls need to know, no matter how old they are, no matter where they come from, no matter what age or background or what they've been through, that they make a difference, and they can make a huge difference, whether it's to one person or millions of people. And I just think about Harriet Tubman saving over 300 slaves, running back and forth on her own. Like, I mean, that was a long time ago. It'd be scary enough to run back and forth through the jungle or the wilderness of New York, back and forth.
Yeah.
And to think about at night being by yourself in the woods, and just the bravery and the courage. And so I just love the stories behind women that have been bold enough to make a difference. And I just want little girls like my nieces to look up. And obviously my brothers reamed me for having too many drinking and partying songs. So I said, well, I better come up with a song that my nieces can listen to.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
You know what's pretty cool? I like listening to like the commentations of people talking about their songs while it's playing. I don't really see that much anymore. And I feel like, I'm not sure how many people actually enjoy watching or listening to those, of people like talking about the stories behind all their songs. But like hearing this, I feel like a lot more people have more, not more respect, but just they kind of enjoy it more. Like they know the background of it. And I feel like more commentations of your songs would be pretty cool to hear.
See, that's why I love being able to play some intimate concerts, like house concerts. I've been doing a lot the last year all over the country, because you get to sit down and you get to talk to people and tell them the story behind the songs. And that's what makes them so much more meaningful. And then they relate to them more. And it's just, I think it's cool as a songwriter. I love being able to share those stories, because that's what's important to me. And that's why I love the song. So I think that that's one thing that the fans really relate to. And some of the big concerts, like we love to rock out. But you do miss a little bit of that like specialness that comes only with some of those smaller shows.
Yeah, definitely. So Eric, have you met any famous singers on your tour around the world, basically? Have you run into any?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, in Nashville, you run into people all the time. Like you're just hanging out at the bar and they walk up right beside you. Miranda Lambert's getting a drink at the bar beside me, But I mean, through the years, I've had the opportunity to open for some pretty amazing, talented singer-songwriters. I've played with Maren Morris and Randy Rogers. I mean, Randy Houser, sorry. I love Randy Rogers too. Mm-hmm. Daryl Worley, I opened for in Italy. I've played with Billy Gibbons in Vegas and John Michael Montgomery in Nashville. Let's see, Brett Eldridge, David Nail, Drake White, the late Wayne Mills I got to tour and write with. But also just, I mean, running into people. Yeah, you definitely meet people on the street. But being able to write with some of the talented songwriters like Porter Howell's the #1 songwriter who's written hits like God Bless Texas for Little Texas. Yep. I mean, to me, it's just the songwriters don't always get a lot of the credit as much as the musicians that are famous do. Yeah. They have some of the coolest stories. And I'm just like as shell-shocked sometimes meeting the songwriter as you are meeting the famous artist, because a lot of people don't even know that Hillary Lindsey's written 40 hits, for Lady Antebellum and Carrie Underwood. They would just bow down to Carrie Underwood, which she's an amazing artist. But the magic to me, as a songwriter, obviously I probably have a little bit more respect for some of the songwriters that may not get as much credit.
Yeah, definitely. I got to ask you, with you traveling everywhere, all over different states and countries, what is the strangest thing that's ever happened at one of your concerts that you sung at? You must have a good story for us.
There's so many strange things that happen at my concert. I will tell you one of the most memorable.
Okay.
That I can say on the show is a drunk rugby player and a couple of his cohorts came into this pub we were playing in Australia at the show. Walked up on stage. They literally pulled his boxers out straight from his pants while he was wearing his pants. Is that called an atomic wedgie, I think? They pulled it out. They ripped. He dropped his pants, completely mooned us, threw his $50 bill, and walked out drunk. Oh, my God. So that one I can't erase. That is something that unfortunately I'll have to take that image to the grave.
That's going to stick around for a long time, I think. Yeah, that's pretty classic.
Of course, I have played at a nudist colony before as well. So that
really?
Was
wow. How was that? That had to be interesting.
You have no idea. I was trying not to look. It's like a train wreck, though. You can't.
I think the opposite. It's like when you get nervous, you think of everyone in their underwear, and then they're all naked, and you're like, nope, I'm going back to.
Yeah, that old thing does not work.
You try to picture everyone clothed.
Stop. So I wore sunglasses for that show inside because I just couldn't.
That's so funny. Oh my God. You know, it's funny because we hear, it's funny to hear some of the stories because people don't know what goes on, all around when you're traveling stuff. And there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens.
Oh yeah.
It's funny. Now the last girl we had on, Savannah, who was a guest on the show, she said that somebody gave her his blow-up doll to have her autograph it. Can you imagine that? I can't imagine somebody bringing one to a concert, first of all, then having an autograph.
Now, I know that my friend Sherry and them, they put a blow-up doll in my room as a joke when I was staying after a show in Salina, Utah. So if you're watching, Sherry, thanks for that.
Oh,
hilarious. I mean, I've had Native Americans, like, dressed head to toe in full, like, warrior outfits walk up on stage during the show. I've had pirate costumes head to toe.
Oh, man.
I've had so many other random things that have, I mean, if that don't shake you up, like here's some things. I'm like, I try to stay professional and maintain, the show. I want to maintain a level of professionalism and keep on playing. But man, when something happens, like a guy walks by in just a sock.
Yeah.
It's bless their heart. You want to keep playing, but sometimes you just want to
start laughing. I know. What's going on right here? That's so funny. Oh my God. Yeah.
I've had to stop the show. Like there's only a couple times that I've had to, I think, actually stop in the middle of the show. But I remember a couple of times I just had to laugh like out loud in the middle of the microphone. There's nothing you can do. Anything goes. So that's one place. Yeah.
And that just throws you right off.
Mm-hmm.
Now I do got to say, you got a nice looking background because when we first got on, I saw, she's got the nice tank top. She's got a little boat over there. She's got some pictures up. She got the shirts. So what I'm trying to do, not being in the studio, there's not a whole lot of scenery here. So I did put up before the show the Rat Pack.
Aww.
I got the boys behind me, Sinatra, Sammy Davis, Martin. So I needed something to make it look like we were kind of in a studio somewhat. But what we're going to need we're getting from our guests is we need you to send us a picture, autograph it, so we can hang some nice stuff up on the wall. So we got some stuff looking behind us. So we got to get something from you.
Perfect. All right. I'll get that out to you tomorrow.
We'll talk about that after. But you know what? We do need another song. There's a lot of people on right now, and I think we're due for another song from Erica Sunshine Lee. What are you going to sing for us next?
Well, since we talked about Change the World, and I think that the world needs to hear this message right now, it's not just for girls. I know the song is directed more toward females, but I think we all need to do our part, especially right now, to just help others and share some love and to just do whatever we can to make a difference. This is called Change the World.
Sounds good.
The dreamer, the little princess, to the tomboy running at recess, to the prom queen or the shy teen playing flute in the high school band, to the freckled face with braces, thinking that you're never gonna make it through the 10th grade. Well, keep the faith, blink your eyes, you'll be graduating. I hear what you're saying, beautiful blue jean baby with that glitter heart of gold somebody stole, tears rolling down your face. Hearts heal after they break, no matter what people say, at the end of the day. Hey, you can be the girl that could change the world. You can be the girl that could change the world, change the world, change the world. Whoa, whoa. To the waitress, or the teacher, or the mama sitting in the bleachers. It ain't ever too late to have dreams to chase. You're strong enough to be a leader. I hear what you're saying, a beautiful blue jean baby with a glitter heart of gold that somebody stole. Tears rolling down your face. Hearts heal after they break, no matter what people say. at the end of the day. Hey, you can be the girl that could change the world. You can be the girl that could change the world, change the world, change the world. Whoa, whoa. We're not that different. Be comfortable in your own skin. Confidence comes from within. No matter who you are, you can make a difference. We're not that different. Be comfortable in your own skin. Confidence comes from within. No matter who you are, you can make a difference. I hear what you're saying. Beautiful blue jean baby with a glitter heart of gold that somebody stole. Tears rolling down your face. I hear what you're saying. Beautiful blue jean baby with a glitter heart of gold that somebody stole. Tears rolling down your face. Hearts heal after they break. No matter what people say, at the end of the day. Hey, you can be the girl that could change the world. You can be the girl that could change the world. You can be the girl that could change the world. You can be the girl that could change the world, change the world, change the world. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, you can be the girl that could change the world. Beautiful blue jean baby. You can be the girl that could change somebody's world.
Awesome. Very nice. Erica Sunshine Lee, great song. Couldn't be better timing for that.
I think so. I think God just gives me the lyrics whenever I need to hear it and whenever other people do too. So it's just a vessel that hopefully awesome. I can share some positivity in this dark time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. John Pappas said, very nice. Awesome. Erica, he said, very nice. So
there's another question here.
What we got?
We got Judge Johnson, who's saying he's curious to hear how your attempt on Survivor is going.
So unfortunately, I did not make the final cut, and I am not on Survivor this season.
So you tried doing Survivor?
Really?
But I think at this point, we all get props for surviving this mess. You know what, though? I think God totally kept me here, because if I'd have been stranded on an island during all this stuff, first of all, I'd have been freaking out worried about my family if I knew. And second of all, they might have been worried I was dead on an island if I didn't talk to him for 6 weeks. So I think that it was kind of good maybe that this time I'm able to quarantine with them and not an island in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, you ain't good.
Oh,
but the $1 million would have been nice.
That would have been
now, there's no shows for 3 months. So if you want to help out the musicians, I am streaming a live show every Friday at 4:20 since we don't have any shows right now for a couple months.
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
That wants to tune in, that is awesome that they've been doing requests and people have been really supportive. So that's been one way to try to keep the musicians going through all this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have anything other planned other than Friday for
Friday
live shows?
I'm just doing East Coast Friday at 4:20 because I just want to do once a week. But tomorrow I'm doing a special edition because it's the release of the album.
Yeah.
So at 4:20 on 4:20, I'll be streaming.
That's perfect.
Yeah, we'll definitely be tuning in for that and checking you out on there. Now I know. Do you have any, like when you do your Friday show? Do you have a virtual tip jar? Do you do Venmo, anything? Talk a little bit about that, where people could reach out to you.
That's been really cool. So I put a link up to the top whenever I'm streaming, and it's got my Venmo is at Erica-Lee-32. It's complicated, but I put it up there. So anytime you click on my live link, whenever I'm streaming, it's in the heading. And my PayPal is just my email, ericasunshine.lee@gmail.com.
Yeah.
But people also have sent Cash App, and I'm like, hey, if you don't have technology and you want a tip, you can mail it a check. I don't care. We're open for whatever.
Support your musicians.
Exactly. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
any tips are greatly appreciated, but not required. So we just love that people are still tuning in. So we still get to play music because that's our thing to get through this.
Yeah. And, it is got to be kind of neat. I realize you'd rather probably be out on the road and do that. But sometimes how neat is it just to sit in your house and just play a concert? You could be wearing your sweats, you could just kind of chill and relax. I mean, is it cool though? I mean, obviously once in a while to do that.
Well, so I hadn't done it. I've done a song here and there, but this is the first time I've like streamed concerts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been interesting. Like I've been doing 3-hour shows because I want people to feel like they're able to get their requests in. And sometimes when you just do an hour, you might play songs that they expect to hear or songs off the new album. But for me, I've written a ton of songs in the last 15 years. And a lot of them don't get heard. And so when I'm at a show, people request the ones that they're familiar with or the ones that are on the albums. But a lot of times, so many of the ones that I love fall through the cracks. And so this is an opportunity for me to kind of dust off some old songs that I've never played or some of the old favorites that I might not play at a bar because maybe they want upbeat, rowdy, fun party songs at midnight. But some of my favorite ones might be like super either sad or emotional or serious songs
it comes from a deeper place.
Yeah,
you know?
And it's been a really cool opportunity for me to share those songs that I wouldn't normally get to. So I like the way that it's kind of been going because I can play whatever and I can still see their requests and I'll still throw out some covers if they want to hear them. But I think this is kind of a time for my fans to get to know me and my music a little bit deeper and maybe in the afternoon when they're sober enough to still remember some of the ones that they may not hear at midnight. But also I've got kids that are able to watch, and that's really cool for me to be able to share some songs, even joke around and play a kid's song with them because that's something that a lot of my shows are later at night when they're already in bed. So it's a whole new audience.
No, it's a nice way to interact with the people who like your music and listen to you and kind of talk back and forth and
find out what they like.
Exactly. So that's pretty cool. You know what? I want to go back to the food thing because I know you travel all over the place. What is your favorite city that you've been to that you've liked the food the most of any place? Is there a certain city or state or country?
I'm such a foodie that I love to travel and go eat food.
Yeah.
So I lived in San Francisco for several years. And aside from Florence and Paris, San Francisco, those are my top 3 just because of the diversity and I don't know. I mean, being in Thailand, a lot of the food is good and it's like $5 to eat. So you cannot beat just the sheer price and the tastiness and the authenticity of that kind of a cuisine. But the decadence of Italian food and just how authentic it was in Florence to me was so memorable and that creative experience. And I'm such a foodie, so every kind of place that I go, I'm always looking for where I can go, like find a cool spot or like even if it's a dive spot or sometimes the high-end places too, just to experience the full spectrum. But in San Francisco, I guess I was so drawn to it because you can go find a dive Thai restaurant that's super cheap or a little spot in Chinatown that looks like a hole in the wall up to the 5-star Michelin restaurants and the experience at Le Chapeau, the French restaurant that has like a 5-course, really intricate and it's all like paired together. So I don't know. I mean, for me, I guess every time I go to San Francisco, I'm going to want to go eat at Chapeau. Yeah. And I'm going to want to go get a burrito at Zona Rosa. And I'm going to want to go to like this little Chinese spot and have their, pot stickers. So there's just like certain, and of course, Ghirardelli hot fudge sundae. I don't know if that counts as food since it's more dessert.
It does.
I love sweets.
It does. You got to have sweets.
So that's, but it's also kind of like a second home because I lived there for so long that after leaving Georgia and then not having any home cooking out there, not having the Southern food and having barbecue withdrawals, I found this whole other world of Thai food and Mexican food and things that I didn't grow up eating.
Right.
So for me, it's like anything you want, you can go to San Francisco. And I know it's not like New York where it's open all night.
Sure.
But it's such a small captive 7 square miles of some of the coolest, most unique and experiences like my friend's West Coast Wine and Cheese Bar. And they have amazing apps from a like really decadent chef that's in this wine bar. Versus just going in and grabbing a burrito down the road.
Yeah.
Where's yours?
It's hard to say. We get that. I mean, we've filmed at 350 different restaurants in New York. We've eaten a lot of places, but people always ask, "What's your favorite place?" I don't really have a favorite place, but I have favorite spots where the food is. Like if somebody goes, "What's your favorite food?" Your pizza place. I give a couple ideas and so forth. New York is so diverse. It has every type of of authenticity food you can ask for. And there's so much good food here and stuff. And how is the food down in Georgia compared to like New York food? It's a whole different. You
can't beat Mama's cooking. I love you, Mama. You cannot beat that woman's cooking. I mean, she can cook anything from chicken and dumplings, and even her spaghetti's good. And then she's got like the roast and the mashed potatoes and homemade biscuits. And so, like, that's what I grew up on. So that's comfort food.
Comfort food.
Comfort
not necessarily the healthiest.
Good Southern comfort.
Good.
It's good for the soul. That's what it is.
Yeah. So I mean, eating at restaurants. Cracker Barrel is a chain that serves good old home cooking.
Yep.
And that's tough to beat when you're on the road looking for a $7 or $8 meal that's home cooking. But there's places like Mary Mac's in Atlanta that has very decadent Southern food that I really enjoy going to. If I can't come to Mama's, I can go to Mary Mac's.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of the food, unfortunately, in the South is greasy and fried and not as healthy for you, but it tastes really good.
It tastes really good. Yeah.
It just depends. But I mean, for me, there's amazing food in Savannah. There's amazing food in Charleston, like the shrimp and grits. And you get that really decadent, rich Southern food that's heavy. But I mean, that's what we're known for. So I love to eat home cooking like that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. I got a friend, Zarina Bell. How are you? Went to high school. Missing New York food. Now, I think Zarina is in Atlanta, Georgia, if I'm right.
Have you eaten at Mary Mac's Tea Room, Zarina?
Zarina, have you eaten at Mary Mac's? What was it?
Tea Room.
Tea Room. Let's see if she was.
Because back then, a woman couldn't own a restaurant, so she called it a tea room and was able to own it and serve this amazing Southern food. And it's very historical, and it's packed every day, all the time.
Really? Oh, wow.
There was another comment. I can't see who it came from. The comments are gone, but they asked that you were an author, and how did that happen? How did you become an author?
I think naturally, like as a songwriter, it's easier. You kind of just write your thoughts and feelings. And for years, I had actually thought my song Butterfly would make a good children's book. So I just used the lyrics from that and got an illustrator to put the pictures to it.
Really?
So I released that and got it published about a year ago. And that's my first children's book. And I'm in the process of my second one that's not a song that I actually wrote for to show kids that they don't need to be mean, because I don't like bullies. And I know that we've probably all experienced bullies in our lives, whether it was when we were kids or adults, because there's just a lot of mean people out there, but there's a lot of really good people. So I wanted to tell kids that message and just remind them as they're little, maybe if we beat them in the head enough with the nice stick, that they'll realize that you don't have to be mean to get anywhere in life, that you get
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Erica, it's been a great 52 minutes hanging out with you, listening to some music, talking about your life and everything you've done, but things are going to get a little difficult now. Okay. Now you are entering the penalty box.
Okay.
Uh-oh. She's like, what's the penalty box? The penalty box is, I'm going to ring off 5 questions, and you're going to answer the first thing that comes to your mind.
Be careful. I try to censor, but I'm not doing that.
It's nothing crazy. I wouldn't throw anything wacky at you. So we're going to get things going. This is an easy one. What is your favorite food? What's your favorite meal?
Steak.
You got to have one thing that if you had to sit at a table and you could, maybe your last meal, you're going to the electric chair. What's that one meal you get?
Steak.
Not to mean it like that, but what is it?
Steak.
Steak. A good steak, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what kind of steak
ribeye.
Like? Is there a certain steak you like?
Just a fat ribeye.
Just a fat ribeye. Oh, nothing tastier than that. That sounds good. Okay, favorite musician, band, singer. Who's your favorite one?
Fleetwood Mac.
Yes, and Erica sang me a Fleetwood Mac song at the show in Phoenix, and I was so excited. I stopped doing my show, and I just listened to her sing. And that was awesome. I actually might request that tomorrow night, by the way.
Well, guess what? I'm releasing my first cover ever, and it's coming out tomorrow on my Bulletproof album, and it's called Dreams, because I love that song so much. That was the first song that I played at my first open mic in San Mateo, California, with my friend John Lawton, who's since passed away. And that song, he suggested it. I did not really know, because growing up, I listened to probably more 90s country and 90s rock.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I started singing in his band that classic rock just like totally opened up to me, and I started digging into that, and I fell so much in love with Fleetwood Mac and their sound and the diversity of their songs. And Stevie Nicks, of course, as a songwriter is just amazing. And so that song has been so special to me through the years. I've sang it show after show for the past 15 years. And so I finally, after recording only original songs for this whole time, this is the first time I've ever released a cover that I've recorded. And it's on the new album.
That's awesome. So we'll hear that tomorrow then. Looking forward to it. And it's funny, I went to see Fleetwood Mac in Albany this past year on their last tour, and they were phenomenal. They're
still rocking.
Yeah, it's amazing. Stevie Nicks just look as fluid up there as can be, still twirling around in her voice, and they're just awesome. I mean, that's a band, one of my all-time favorites. All right, so next question is, what is your favorite song to sing?
It changes so much. So I guess right now, Drinking and Praying is still one of my favorite songs to perform, because not only have I personally experienced people really close to me that have battled with addiction, but when I look in the audience and I know other people understand, whether it's been drugs, alcohol, food addiction, any kind of struggle that they've had, it's such a raw and honest story. And I think that just being able to share what has helped me or what has helped people that I know have gotten through addiction, and being able to turn from it and just be able to turn to their faith in God, to depend on that strength to get through when you feel like you can't do it, because it's like we're all seeking a void, or we're all seeking something to fill a void in our life, and there's nothing that's going to fill it. Like, you can drink as much as you want, you can do as many drugs as you want, but in the end, you're still feeling that empty unless you have that void filled, in my opinion, in my beliefs, by my Creator God. And to know that has, overcome so many people's addictions, and to be able to go to the higher power when you don't have the strength to get through it. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. And they have sent me messages and come up to me after shows and said, hey, that song really hit me because I've been going through this, and thank you so much for sharing. Or, hey, I hadn't talked to my mama in 5 years, and I heard this song and I called her, and now we're friends again. Because addiction can just steal everything that you have. And I want people to have fun at my shows. I want them to enjoy it. But if it's a problem, if they are struggling with addiction, then I want them to be able to know that there is help.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Now, if there was one band that you can open for, who would it be?
Well, Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac, right? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yeah. I bet Stevie let you go up and sing Dreams with her.
I would love to. Stevie, if you're listening, let me know when. I'm ready.
Nicks. You know what? If Stevie Nicks is listed, make sure you get Erica come and sing with you.
Tag Stevie Nicks if y'all are friends with her, because I really want us to do a duet. I just wrote a new song that I think she'd crush.
Well, if Stevie Nicks is watching, we'll definitely hopefully she'll see this. Okay, last question. This one's kind of a little personal, a little intimate, but I really enjoy listening to the answers on this. If you could have dinner with one person, whether they passed on, still alive, to have dinner with them, who would it be and why?
Mama, you know this one.
Uh-oh. Where is Mama?
Mama's in the other room, but Betty Jane, she was like she's passed away now, but she was like my grandmother. Growing up, she was my next door neighbor, and my whole life, like whenever I moved to California, even after I graduated high school, I would still call her and we'd talk all the time on the phone, even when she was 87 years old, and I still talk to her like I was talking to you. And she's just sarcastic and funny and sassy, and we would get along, and she was a great cook. She was just fun. She was like the grandmother that on the other side of my family, I had my daddy's mama, and then she was like this pseudo grandmother, and so we were just really close growing up. And it was a neat time being able to grow up and go to her house when I was a little kid, and she practically half raised me when I would run around the neighborhood. So yeah, I would definitely have one meal with her if I could again, because she was a real big part of my life.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, guys, we had a great show. Erica, always good to talk to you and sit down. This was nice. I know when we met you, you were busy with the show and we were busy with our show, but it was always great to sit down and talk with you for an hour and hear your story. And we can't wait tomorrow for the release at 4/20/20. Everybody tune in tomorrow. You're definitely going to want to catch that. She's excited. We're excited. I want to thank again Radio Trop Rock and Eric Babin for sponsoring today's show. Thank you so much, Eric.
Hey, thank you for all the support and playing my song Mojitos.
There it is.
Trop Rock.
There it is, Trop Rock. Eric, thank you again. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We had a lot of people joining us today, asking some questions. Thank you so much. Ryan, fantastic. Always good to talk with you too. But Erica, good talking to you. Good luck tomorrow. I'm definitely going to hop on tomorrow and check it out and listen to the album, and definitely stay in touch and keep us informed on what's coming up and what's going on. And you can check her out on her Facebook page to see when she's playing on Friday nights, and hopefully when everything gets opened up again, she'll have a schedule where she's traveling all over. Right?
And I think they're rescheduling the Lake George Festival for later this summer. So keep an eye out. I'll be up in your neck of the woods.
Keep an eye on that. Yes, if you come up this way, make sure you get in touch with us. We'll definitely try to come up and visit you and stuff. So, guys, another great show here today at No Time for Nonsense. Bill Vinci and Ryan Vinci, along with special guest Erica Sunshine Lee. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see everybody on Thursday for our next show. You guys stay safe, be careful, and have a great day. Erica, we'll see you soon.
Thanks, y'all.
Take care, Ryan. We'll see you.
Bye.
Have a great day.
You too.